Good afternoon. Last night the storms weren't too bad. We didn't have any problems. But as you can see, maybe, we got some weather moving in tonight. Sorry. I think it's about 1:30-ish in the afternoon, 1300-ish, 1330-ish, whatever. So today, last night we realized that our air conditioner wasn't running good. We've been running our windows open days like today. Trying not to spend money. You know, we're frugal. We try not to spend money on stuff like air conditioning. But we did notice last night, we turned on the, there's a great big wasp nest over here, it caught my eye. Anyway, we noticed last night that the air wasn't running good. And didn't seem like it was getting anywhere. So we shut it off and I stepped outside. Came out here and it was humming. That's where I'm at now. But I was humming, so you know, I'm a I'm a maintenance technician. I do maintenance every day at work. Nobody likes to work on stuff all day and then come home and work on stuff, but hey, that's life, man. So I got to noticing that it was humming like it was trying to run, but it wasn't. It took me a handy stick, this actual stick, broke it to where it was pretty solid. I stuck it down in the fan blade and spun it around, and it came on. That tells me from, you know, experience, but you can also read it online, because I always go online and try to back up my thinking, because, you know, I'm not a genius, I'm not perfect at everything, but it tells me most likely my capacitor's bad. So basically what I'm doing is I'm in here right now with my stuff and my meter. I know how to use it, so it's easier for me to fix things myself if I check it myself. So basically that's what I'm doing. I'll turn around here and try to show you. So as you can see, I got it all pulled apart. I got the breakers off. I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. I don't know how long it's going to take for it to kick on. But it's running through its little process here. It's already starting to do its thing. I'll turn it back on when it kicks on. So, sorry, I got a phone call. I had to start everything over. Right now, it's kind of going through the cycle where it's starting up. Shortly, this contactor right here will kick on. The capacitor ought to send a jolt to the fan, and the fan ought to kick on. Alright, so there goes the contactor in. I hear the compressor running, but my fan's not turning. So I'm going to take my trusty stick here and try to give it a jolt. Now the air is hot coming out of there. Let me back up so you can hear. The air is hot coming out of there right now, but it'll cool off here shortly. So what it's doing now is it's pulling air through the pulls, and it's cooling off the air going into the house. There's another fan inside that blows it on in. Anyway, basically the point is the capacitor's out, is what I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure it is. So the contactor's on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it back off, or I'll just let you watch. So one thing you want to do is you don't want to mess with your capacitor there. This round thing, this round guy here. You see that in there? I don't know. There we go. So that round thing is your capacitor. And I'm not suggesting you do this. And here comes the UPS man. And me and him get along really well, so I'm going to go talk to him. Okay. That was nice. Got me a nice water here. And here comes the kitty. So basically what I want to do is, I've already done all this off camera. I just decided to shoot a video just to have something to film. But I know where my wires are going to my capacitor. I took a picture. Plus, I do this for a living, y'all, and I know what most of this stuff means. I know how to read it. They're fairly simple. If you take enough time to read it, you can figure it out. This one is nice. It's a newer unit, luckily for me. My old one was an antique, but this one tells you what every little piece is, what every label is. And so here, my outdoor fan motor is this guy here, and it runs off of the, let's see, RC run capacitor. I got run capacitor. That's my RC1, my run capacitor. This drawing shows transformer, the board, the capacitor. Here's the board, just like on the drawing, the transformer, the capacitor, and the contactor here below the capacitor. So it's all there. It's been a hoot owl outside my window now for 6 nights in a row. She's calling to me, I know. And on Wildfire we're both gonna go. Oh, oh, hey! Just ran into town, get a capacitor. It's a long drive into town. I can see why some of you folks want to be in there. Nah, I'd rather drive. Alright, so I got the capacitor. The guy at the desk was funny. You know, I go in there, my t-shirt, my shorts, tennis shoes on. And all the guys in there are heating air guys, you know. Well, are you sure it's bad? I'm fairly sure it's bad. The compressor comes on, fan don't come on. Pulls his ohm meter out, ohm meters it. He's checking it. And he's just doing good customer service. Don't get me wrong, I'm not really making fun of him, but it's funny, you know, kinda. So anyway, he gets his ohm meter out, turns it on, he checks it. He's like, oh, come on now. And he checks the compressor side and got a good ohm. Checks the fan side. Well, it looks like the fan side's out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know, I thought it was funny. Don't get me wrong, guy did great, good customer service. He just didn't want me to have to run back and forth, I'm sure. I didn't tell him where I was from. It's just good customer service. You know, I appreciated that he checked it. It really made me feel like I'll be going back there. Anywho, I thought I'd share that part while it was fresh on my mind. I thought it was funny. Storm's brewing. I don't know if y'all can see out there. It's coming. A friend of mine doesn't like people to do truck talk, so I'm just going to wrap this part up real quick. I'll just edit it in the video. I really want to get back to the house and beat this storm, because I don't want to be working on this thing in the rain. And odds are my wife's going to get hot tonight, and she's going to want the air on. Alright, stay tuned. And on Wildfire we're both gonna go. Well, I didn't beat the rain. Alright, so this is my third time to attempt to come back out here between the rain. Looks like I got a break, but there's still more coming. So went to town, got a new capacitor, as you'll see. I'm going to stick it in. I'm not going to play around with this very long. I don't have a lot of time for one. But, new capacitor. Stay tuned. Okay, something I commonly do. I've got it back in here now. It's still off. Something I commonly do when I'm working on stuff like this, anytime you're going to do any unwiring. Most people got a phone now with cameras. I think there's cameras everywhere in the world now. I take a picture of it. I take good pictures of it. This capacitor is labeled fan, and it's got a C. And then there's another one there. It says Hearn or something. Anyway, I know that there's a brown wire on the fan, a purple wire on the compressor, and then The orange and red wire are on the other side. They're coming to the other leg. So there's three outputs there, or 3 input outputs. There's 3 sections to put wires there. I took a photo of it, so I know I've got it wired right. It's exactly like the other one was. So that's just a suggestion. Take a picture of your wiring before you take it apart. Like this, you're not going to be able to do anything with all this, but you can look at your photos if you take good enough photos and see that the red wire is L3, black wire is L1, T3 is your red, and even the wires have numbers on them. I'm not going to tell you how to do all that. I could go into more detail, but basically your wiring schematic, all that stuff's here. It tells you all the different components, all what's what. You see here this RC1. RC1 is the run capacitor, and it shows here the purple wire comes off of the H side and goes into the compressor. The red wire here, it's got an R on it for red. It comes off of the C and goes to T3. You also have another one off of the C that comes over to your outer fan motor, which is the fan up top, and that is also, well, it's O here, so it's orange. And then your BR is brown. It shows over here, it says what it is. Not everybody's schematic is as good as this one. This is a good schematic. I know you can't see it, but so your BR also goes to your outer fan motor, which is up there. So I'm pretty sure now we're gonna be able to turn her all on, and we're gonna get an air conditioner. I'm gonna bolt all this back up and give it time to process through its through the system, and it should fire up pretty soon. Oh, it's not gonna fire up because I've got it turned off in the house with the thermostat. So just to be safe, I'm gonna turn everything off and put it back together. Another thing that's important when you're messing with this stuff is keeping up with your screws. You can do it however you want to do it. Everybody's got their own way. But if you lose screws, then you lose protection. You know, some cabinets, some guys only run 1 screw in the bottom or whatever just because it holds the panel on, but then you let more stuff inside of it. So that's just a tip. I'm gonna go ahead and buckle all this back together and run in the house and turn it on. Well, we missed it. There you go. We missed it kicking on. It kicked on right away as soon as I turned it on. But fan's running, pressure's running. Looks like it's all gonna work out. One thing I'd like to reiterate, I don't know if I actually said it or not. This is the little tool pouch that I use around the house for electrical work, and it usually has a little case here on the side that holds my bits for my Milwaukee stuff. I have a little circuit breaker tester, tells you if things are good or bad. Anyway, I use some decent screwdrivers. These are 1000 volt Klein, what are they, ergonomic or something, but they're basically they're coated for wire protection and sparks. I suggest if you're not great at electricity, Phillips, that you get you a couple of those. This one doesn't have the sheath, but I like Kleins. I have a lot of Kleins because I do this sort of stuff for a living. Cutters and wire crimpers, and then these are the strippers that I use. You don't have to get these exact ones. The point is that these will protect you if you forget to turn off the power. If you're holding it like this and you actually touch 2 things that aren't supposed to touch and it arcs, it's not going to get you up here. It'll just blow the tip off your screwdriver, and it will, and it won't knock your pants off. Another thing, if you've got 2 lugs and you're messing with this one and you accidentally touch this one, this coating will protect you. You don't have to buy the Kleins. There's a lot cheaper versions out there. I say look into them. You know, maybe this video's not meant to be made. I've had nothing but trouble shooting this video, And it's probably going to be longer because I keep rambling, and every time I do something, my phone shuts off, I run out of space, I run out of battery. Somebody calls me, somebody sends me a message. Anyway, what I was saying is you don't have to buy the Klein ones. You don't have to buy the best for around the house. Look into some of, I think at Harbor Freight you can get some that are coated. Some people coat their own. You can put, you can buy heat shrink and slide over the shank of your screwdrivers and heat them up. Although I suggest you go buy some because you know they're done right. The gnats are getting me now. See, I'm not sure this video is meant to be made. But there we go. Simple problem, everyday problem for people. Capacitor. I didn't have a spare. Boo. But I went and got one. I got to put in. Apparently it's a common thing. You can Google those kind of problems on the internet. I don't know everything. Don't call me with all your all your questions about your air conditioner because I'm not an AC man. Point of all of this is that, hey, you can do it yourself. You put your mind to it, you study, you get the right tools. Most thing you want to know when you're dealing with power is you want to shut it off. I should have shut it off at the breaker box, but I've been in it a lot. I understand how it works and what not to touch, and I probably should have turned it off at the box. I'm gonna wrap this up before it gets any worse, before anything else happens. I don't know if it's any kind of information. I don't know if it's funny. I don't know if it's worth sharing, but that's what I did today. And it wasn't what I planned on doing, but that's what I had to do. I had to make a run into a long journey today. I think I burned up a tank of gas today in the wife's car. So I've been all over the world, and I come home, had to fix this problem. Had to drive 40 minutes, back to town. So that's that. I'm gonna try to enjoy the rest of the evening, which ain't gonna be long because that storm's coming back in. We're just in a little gap. You can't hear it, but it just thundered right over there. Alright, I'm sorry I babbled this long. Y'all have a good one.